welcome to another episode of Paranormal Outlet. We have got an interview going to be happening here with an amazing lady from Edson and Area Paranormal. Her name is Chrissy. Hey Chrissy, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi there. My name's Chrissy. I'm in Alberta here, and I'm part of a local paranormal group in our small little town. We've done a few investigations and stuff, but I have quite a bit of personal experience of things that have happened over the years that I think I'm going to share with you guys today.
Awesome. You sent a video clip of a drawer. How about you tell us about that? I'm going to attach that video, by the way, to this one, so
Okay.
Our listeners can have a peek at it and see exactly what it is you're talking about.
Okay, all right. That kind of that'll start off with the group that I'm with. We went and did an investigation at our local theater.
Mm-hmm.
The manager had called our group and asked us to come in, and there's a lot of the staff and stuff. The kids will not go to the basement to redo the canisters of pop and stuff like that. There's a lot of them that refuse to go to the basement. They've had their hair pulled. Guests in the theater part have had their hair pulled. They've been poked. Just really, really eerie feeling when they're working and it's quiet and all of the people are watching the movie and stuff like that. So anyway, we went in and we did this investigation.
Mm-hmm.
There was myself and Kevin, the fellow in charge of our group, and the manager of the theater. Her name is Sandy. And they were upstairs setting up game cams because there have been sounds coming from upstairs, which is there's no other businesses, there's no other people in the building, and they have heard footsteps up in the hallway. So they were upstairs setting up game cams, and I just went into the theater part and sat down right kind of in the center of the theater. All the lights were off, and I just had my phone and was doing some audio recording.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any other equipment or anything. So I was asking questions and the basics and stuff, and then all of a sudden, I got poked in the side. Enough that I yelped. I jumped up and booked it back to the lobby.
Wow, eh?
I booked it. So I waited for them to come back downstairs, and then we all went into the theater area.
Mm-hmm.
And we were doing some voice box and stuff. And as you know, it only transmits. It does not record anything. So you can't tell it what to say. It just picks up clips of radio stations
Right.
and words here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So we were asking lots of questions, and it came up with a few names of people that were, might have been there, and then it started repeating like quite often, Robert, and then a few minutes later it said Chrissy, and my name's not that popular, but
You must have been floored.
yeah, oh yeah, I was like, what?
Right?
So a few minutes later, we asked a bunch of other questions. We got a few, random answers that really didn't coordinate perfectly. And then all of a sudden, it started to say, Robert likes Chrissy. All three words, like from different, voices, but Robert likes Chrissy. So it was like, okay, I think I'm done.
Right. Uh-huh.
So we headed back out to the lobby, and we headed to the basement where the pop canisters are,
Mm-hmm.
as there's lots of feelings and sounds and things happen down there. And so the three of us are standing there, and unfortunately we didn't have any audio equipment recording at the time, but Sandy and I both jumped, and Kevin, he's like, what? And we're like, you didn't hear that? And he was, no. Well, hear what? And both Sandy and I heard the loudest bark of a dog, and he didn't hear anything.
Wow.
Absolutely. So we had a few other things. There was temperature changes and stuff like that throughout the investigation. But so a few days later, I'm at home, and we had a few things that I had a few things that started to happen around the house that afterward I kind of linked to it. But my daughter and I, we were walking down the hall, and all of a sudden there was a loud slam on the wall, like somebody slammed an open hand onto the paneling, like
Wow.
onto the wall. So that was a little bit scary. I had a boxer that was just a big goof, never vicious, never anything like that. And my husband and I were watching TV in bed one evening, and all of a sudden, and he was asleep at the bottom of the bed, and suddenly he jumped up and ran up, standing right in between us, growling at the bed in between us. Look, snarling and growling, and we're like, what? Because this was completely out of character for him. Like, he never acted
Right.
like that. And then it was a couple days after that I have a TV stand that every time I walked into the room, one of the drawers were open. And, I didn't really think anything of it. I was busy cleaning house and stuff. So I'd close the drawer and I'd go and do my thing and come back and the drawer's open, and I'd close the drawer. And it kept happening so much that finally I just set my cell phone up in case the dog was going over and doing something.
Right.
So I set my phone up, videotaping, like recording, looking at the dresser.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sat down at the computer and I'm playing on Facebook or whatever. And all of a sudden I hear a noise and I turn around and my dog is at the dresser. So I yell at him. And like, I always talk to my dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So I yell at him, "Did you do that?" And then I stopped the video, and then when I
really good footage of that.
It was creepy.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped the recording and then watched back, and the drawer had started to open all by itself, and it was about halfway open when you can see that my dog Tucker suddenly looks up and jumps up and runs over there. It's already moving. And it's almost stopped when he got there, and then it opened just a little bit more all on its own. And then of course I yelled at him, so he came running over to me. But so that happened, and I was like, okay, I have to be able to debunk this, like,
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I am kind of spiritual, so I did look through the drawer, and it was full of DVDs and CDs. So just in case, somebody was trying to send me a message that was on a CD or something. And so I emptied all the discs out of the drawer. I took the drawer out to make sure that something hadn't fallen down behind it that was pushing it out, and nothing. And so we had just recently redone a bunch of flooring in our house, so I had some of the little plastic wedges that you can use. And so I put them under the front legs of the dresser so that it was tipping backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, for sure, momentum, there's no way that the drawer could open.
Right.
And sure enough, it did. It opened a couple more times after that. So I had posted the video on my Facebook page, and my paranormal buddy, he phoned me right away. And so he went down the next morning. He didn't let me come. He and the manager went through the place, through the theater again, and he just said, "Robert, you did not have permission to follow Chrissy home, and she will come here to see you. Do not go there again." And did a bunch of smudging and stuff like that, and it seemed to stop after that, thank goodness.
Wow, hey?
Yeah. And then a couple weeks later, one of our other girls, she does a lot of research, and she researched and found out that the building across the street used to be our provincial building, and it had the courthouse in it. And in one of the jail cells, waiting to go in for his court hearing, a fellow named Robert had hung himself in the courthouse right across the street. So, we're kind of thinking that was Robert.
Right.
And needless to say, even though it's a brand new theater now, like they redid all our seats and everything, I have not been back to the movie.
Well, I can understand why.
So that's my drawer story.
Right.
It was cool. I wasn't afraid. I was kind of freaked out, but I wasn't afraid.
Mm-hmm. You've had lots of experiences over the years, though.
Personal ones, yes.
Yeah. Of them all, what would you say is your favorite one? Or your most memorable one?
My most memorable would be after my mom passed away. And she was a very old-fashioned lady. Very, very old-fashioned. She always had what she called her house shoes on. They were LA Gear sneakers. And she even had a little bag for them. So if she came to my house to visit, she had her little bag with her slippers in them. Her shoes. Anyway, she passed away, and she was very, very close to my two older kids.
Mm-hmm.
She had passed away, and it was a few months after she was gone. My dad was at my house having a cup of coffee, and my son had gone on a sleepover. And I had to explain to the mom that for some reason in the last month or so, my son had stopped sleeping at night. I would wake up and he'd be asleep on the floor in the hallway or at the bottom of the bed, or he would not sleep at night. The lights were on, he was reading. And so, you know how kids are. I mean,
Right.
if they're still up at 2 a.m, you yell at them to shut the lights off.
Mm-hmm.
So I warned her. I said, if he's still awake, can you just let him? He won't get into anything. He's a good kid.
Right.
So anyway, my dad's there having coffee, and the phone rings, and it's my friend. And my dad said the blood just drained out of my face while I was talking on the phone. And she said, "Chris, I just thought I'd let you know that I overheard Andrew talking to Derek, and he can't sleep at night because his grandma keeps coming to his room, and she's really mad because she has no shoes."
Wow.
So then when I get off the phone, I'm telling my dad, and at first he's like, looking at me like, what? And then I said, Dad, I picked out her favorite outfit for cremation. I did not pick out shoes. And this would be a huge thing to my mother. She would be PO'd.
Right.
She'd have been mad that she didn't have shoes. So for a kid to come up with something scary that specific,
right?
You know, most kids would come up with a monster or something like that. But for a kid to come up with Grandma is mad because she doesn't have shoes, doesn't have her shoes. It was, that's probably my favorite. And after that, he started sleeping, and it stopped after that. Once I kind of knew. And my dad joked around and he said, when I go, you make sure that you send shoes with me, because if I get there and I don't have any, I'm going to be in deep trouble. So when he passed away the following year, for sure, I had my niece go down and get some LA Gear sneakers, and we had them cremated with my dad. So that way he wouldn't be in trouble. So that's probably my favorite story. I've had a few others. There was my dad. He had a habit of every time he walked by us, any of us kids, if we were sitting at the table or whatever, he would just reach out and squeeze our shoulder. Right. And he had a really, really strong hand. He only had a few fingers. He was missing a couple fingers, so that hand was like super, super strong. And he would just squeeze our shoulder. One day after he had passed away as well, I was standing in the kitchen. The kids were at school, and I'm having a meltdown, and I'm crying, and I've got my hands over my face, and I'm sobbing. And all of a sudden, I felt my dad squeeze my shoulder. And I didn't move my hands. I didn't anything. Just my heart rate just slowed right down, and the sobbing stopped, and I just... It didn't hurt so much, that there wasn't that empty feeling anymore.
It was comforting.
And, it was just so comforting. It was pretty cool.
That's amazing, hey? Of your other ones, what would you say would be your scariest or spookiest one?
Oh, that would be Robert, for sure.
That would be Robert? Oh.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember which other experience. Oh, yeah, the motorbike. I used to ride motorbike, and... it's winter, like it snows here, so my husband took my bike apart, and I wanted to paint it. And he had it all primed for me. I brought it into the house, all the pieces, the fenders, gas tank, and the kids were all gone to school. Hubby was gone. I threw a tarp and a sheet over top of my pool table.
Right.
Basement, so the sheet went right over. I didn't want to get any paint on it anywhere.
Exactly.
So I set all my parts on the table, and I went upstairs to get myself a cup of coffee, and I come back downstairs, and sitting right on top of the sheet, right on the rag, like the rim, was a penny. A penny out of nowhere. There was no way that it was on the gas tank piece or anything like that. It was just a penny sitting right on the rag. Wow. So that was kind of, like, okay, you're here.
Right?
Yeah, it was comforting. Like I haven't really been afraid of any of them.
Right.
They're kind of comforting. It lets me know that they're there. They don't show up very often anymore. More if I lose my keys or if I lose something else, and I'll be looking, and then I'll say, okay, guys, where is it? Joking around.
Right.
But all of a sudden some crazy thing will pop into my head where it should not be, and that's where it is. So I always say that that's my mom.
Well, you know what? That's helpful.
Yeah. And the day that my dad died, he was on his way to our house for Christmas, and my daughter, my oldest, she was a going concern then. And she just was going all day long. And that whole day, all she did was kneel on the couch, looking over the back of the couch out the window the whole day.
Wow. So,
I mean, I didn't really think anything of it because I was busy baking and cooking, getting supper ready, all the stuff ready for supper. Because, Dad was coming and he had moved away. So I was excited. And the whole day she just sat there. It was about 6:00 that the police showed up to tell us that my dad had been killed in a car accident. And she knew all day long. Even now, she remembers that she just knew something was wrong with Grandpa the whole day. And he had been killed about 8:30, 9:00 in the morning. So she knew.
Wow. So all these experiences that you had, did you find, did they change your life any at all?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm not afraid of dying now for myself. I don't, I am for my kids. I mean, that's my biggest fear. I mean, I could care less about me, but for my kids. But I'm not afraid. I know that there is something after. I'm not a religious person, but I'm not a non-believer either.
Right.
So I always joke that everything, I learned everything I needed to about God from Charles Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie.
Right. Wasn't it an amazing show?
Yeah.
Well, I think we all watched that.
Yeah. I know there is something after, and the things that have happened, I know it's them that are trying to get the messages through, so that they're just letting me know that they're still around.
That's awesome. How long have you been with the paranormal group?
A couple years.
Yeah? Is it a newer group?
Yeah, no, it's a newer group. There's basically, mostly it's Kevin and I, and then another girl that she's kind of out of Hinton, so she does some of the investigations there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Kevin has all the equipment. We have everything.
Right.
The only one we haven't tried yet is the Connect. So, because a lot of our investigations have been either outdoors or they have been in really big places. So the Connect, that's the one with all the dots. So it catches anything that's moving.
That is a cool gadget, that.
It is. It's a really neat. And of course, this last year we haven't been able to do any because of COVID.
Right.
But yeah.
Does the group have a website or anything?
Just Facebook. We have Edson and Area Paranormal.
Okay, just in case our listeners want to check that out.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of checking things out, Chrissy's not holding back on you people and not letting you know that she's a fantastic entertainer and an amazing vocalist. And she has a YouTube channel, so we're going to post that link for that in the description here. So yes, be sure to check her out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you
so much for being here and sharing all that information. It was amazing.
Thank you for asking.
I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too, and I can't wait to see the channel.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
If you would like to have your story read or participate in an interview for the show, please email me at paranormaloutlet4u@gmail.com. You'll find the address in the description. We look forward to hearing from you. Your privacy will be respected on this channel. That being said, if you would like your story to be shared but would like to remain anonymous, please indicate that at the beginning of your email. Also, if you feel that Paranormal Outlet would be something that you will enjoy, please hit like, subscribe, and share. Also, please feel free to leave a comment below. Your input is valued and appreciated. Thank you so much for being a listener, a subscriber, and a supporter. See you again real soon. Bye-bye.